Alrighty, looking at today's examples for the please do now, starting with the first. We're here, Hollis, she said, a woman in sweats, a mustard stain on the front from the hot dogs we had eaten on the side of the road. Those hot dogs were a mean lump in the middle of my stomach, sloshing around with the Mountain Dew. She tried to talk all the way, but I hadn't answered. So first things first, let's figure out what this is an example of. So the first thing that pops to mind is how it says the hot dogs were a mean lump in the stomach, in the middle of my stomach. So when I see that word, it kind of tips me off to be a metaphor. Like, is there a comparison between a hot dog and a lump in someone's stomach? However, that's not really a comparison being happening. But in actuality, the hot dog is being described as mean. So I know food cannot actually be mean. People can be mean. So this is letting me know the hot dog is being given a human quality, which is an example of personification. So what does this tell me? Does it tell me it suggests that Hollis feels uncomfortable or unhappy? Or does it suggest that an unkind person sold the hot dogs? This is letting me know that Hollis feels uncomfortable or unhappy because it's a lump in the middle of his stomach. If I felt like a lump in the middle of my stomach, I wouldn't be feeling too good. All right, next example. I don't worry much about him on days when the sun sparkles on the water, when sailboats skim below. It's so beautiful, I can forget that it's dangerous too. But when the wind blows through the Golden Gate, the men cling to the girders like caterpillars on a branch. So I'm seeing men on the Golden Gate being compared to caterpillars on a branch using the word like, which lets me know this is a simile. What does this suggest? It's suggesting that the men hold on tightly to the bridge, just like caterpillars would on a branch. All right, next and last example. Then I knew that even though nobody in the world figured that old car had any good purpose, Ob knew there was some real reason to let it sit. And when May died, he figured out what it was. I never saw two people love each other so much. All right, so it says that then I knew that even though nobody in the world figured that old car had any good purpose, can this person possibly know that there is no one in the entire world who could figure something out? That sounds like an extreme, unrealistic exaggeration, which is an example of hyperbole. So what does this tell me? Does it suggest that the car travels around the world? Or does it suggest that very few people thought the car had a purpose? I would say the latter. It suggests that very few people thought the car had a purpose because it was like no one in the world could figure it out. All right. So for the last week's mini practice, we're going to be going over what hyperbole is. So hyperbole is an extreme exaggeration. A hyperbolic statement is not realistic, meaning it cannot actually happen in real life. So I have a few examples. First example, normal sentence, it's really cold out here. And hyperbole of that would be, it's so cold, my toes are turning to ice and falling off. I know that is extremely exaggerating. Toes aren't really freezing and falling off. It's hyperbole. Next example, this food is so hot. How can I make that a hyperbole? My tongue is literally sizzling and smoking from this food. We know tongues aren't really going to be sizzling and smoking, but it's an exaggeration to say just how hot that tongue is and how hot the food is. Last example, we've been walking for a long time. A hyperbolic statement would be, I swear we've been on this path for 2,000 miles. We know in actuality, no one is walking 2,000 miles. It just feels like such a long time. So this is an exaggeration to show that they've been walking for a long time. Good luck on your practice today.